Hello. It's Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat. Realised I've not put the light on, although sometimes it's better without the light on. Back for another one of my flip through. Oh, apologies, I don't know if it's allergies or if it's a bit of a cold. Got a bit of a sniffle. But yeah, another of my flip through my scrapbook albums. So as you can see, this is a different kind of album from the ones that we've previously looked at. Those have all been the D-bound ones. This one's a post-bound, but it's a really nice quality one. No idea where it's from. Had it for years. But this is another one of those random albums. So I've talked before. Oh, apologies. I don't scrap. Let's see if I can straighten that up a bit. Well, you can probably now see my Jim Jam bottoms. Yeah, I don't scrap in a particular sequence or an order or anything along those lines. I scrap as I fancy. So there's no rhyme or reason to the sequencing of this album or anything like that. And it is just, this is randoms. I think on my last video, which I've just finished editing and trying to upload to YouTube, it's causing me some problems. It's not quite going to plan. I'm sure it'll be up already by the time this one gets around to being uploaded. Yeah, I'm sure on the last time I thought it was a random one, and I think it was a random one at the beginning, and then it turned into a Maya album. So yeah, it's only as I was editing the video, I was thinking, oh, these are mainly Maya pictures, really. I mean, obviously, she is the focus of a lot of pictures. She's my daughter. I love her to bits. She's the little angel. She's not an angel, and she's not little. But yeah, so, but this absolutely, I've just had a little flick through before the started video, and this absolutely is random stuff, random members of the family, etc. So yeah. Yeah, it is. I'm just thinking, oh, what's that? Yeah, even though it's only happened like 5 minutes ago. Right, let's start with this one. I like this page already. I can tell this is a more modern page. Sorry, I'm just drinking some tea because my throat is, maybe it's a cold, maybe it's not, don't know. Yeah, I can tell this is more modern in my approach. I like the sort of the torn edges. It works quite nicely with this massive embellishment. Now that's a weird thing. That's not something I would normally do, but I remember getting these stickers. But I think that they work quite well together. I'm liking it. Yeah, I don't dislike that page. Oh, I am going to have to move my tea because otherwise it's going to get knocked over. She says, immediately choking on it. Oh, excuse me. Professional YouTubers would probably cut and go and restart, but you know, this is me. Right, okay. Okay, I've talked previously, I had a bit of a thing of putting my photos into an app and embellishing on the app, and then printing those out. So that's one of these. Oh, with the lovely Andersons. Again, like this page. I like the little clustered elements that's going on. Again, all matchy because it's Stampin' Up products. Yes, I like that page. Again, lots of journaling strips going on. I think, again, if I was to re-scrap it, I would not change a huge amount, but I would add something to the background just to give it a bit of grounding. I like this page too, with 3 photos. Talked previously on other videos about the fact that I don't use multiple photographs very often, and then it turns out I do. It's just sometimes I'm really bad at it, but actually on this occasion, really like it. Very similar size pictures that I've chosen to do. They're not great quality pictures, I have to admit, they're quite dark. But I know what it is, and I can see where it is. I like that. I like those little bubbly letters kind of stickers. Again, introduction of those what are they called, hexagons. I like hexagons. I like the arrows. So yeah, I like that page. I also like the colours. It's an unusual colour for me, sort of like a terracotta colour. Okay, Not as keen on this page, but I think we've talked previously, I don't particularly like this pattern paper anymore. I think it was something called Parker's Patterns. I don't know what that is that's on it. Damp wet wipe. There we go. Something's obviously spilt at some point. But yeah, it was called Parker's Patterns. I'm not particularly keen on it, but it kind of works with my mum's skirt. I really like the text background on this, but sometimes I find it a bit overwhelming. But what I don't like is those patterns, I suppose. Do I like the layout? Yeah, not too bad actually. It's a bit blocky. Obviously lacking embellishments, all the kind of stuff that we would not throw at it normally. Okay, this is quite an old page, my cousins and my dad. But it's an old scrapbook page as well as an old photo, so 2004. Yeah, I mean, it looks old and blocky, but I don't dislike it as such. I can see something that's a bit different. Like I'd chosen different fonts for my letters and that kind of stuff, and I think that works quite nicely. Quite big picture. I think that must be a 5x7 picture. So even though it's quite an old scrapbook page, I really like it, even though it's old in style. I think I did something with it. Okay, not as keen on this one though. This is a case of lots of photos, no real cohesion. This is my mum and her sister, my auntie, and yeah, this is of its era. So this will have been scrapped before I had my daughters. This is probably about 20 years ago I'll have scrapped that page. So yeah, at this point I was doing lots of printing out the journaling or the titles and that kind of thing, which is better than my handwriting, that's for certain. This is a more modern page because this is definitely Stampin' Up stuff. But again, quite an old page, I think. Although I was obviously doing hidden journaling. And also, can we just say, I mean, I don't know what year this is from, but post 2006. But my mum, just massive amounts of weight loss. Goodness me. Hasn't she done well? And she's so much slimmer than that now, but you know when you just go, oh, goodness me. But yeah, I quite like it. I mean, it's basic, but I quite like it. What I like is I've used like these are obviously die cuts, and then I've used these might be designed to be like this, that they are the reverse of the die. Can't remember what they call that, but yeah. Okay, old scrapbooking again. So this is from my mum's 60th birthday party. Envelopes, I've talked about those before. They appear on old scrapbooking pages quite often. I've attempted a sort of a shadow to my letters on my title. That's interesting. Yeah. And this one, apart from the big letters that I have hand cut, so actually I'm quite impressed with those. Not very much going on this page because that pattern paper is so bright. I mean, I love that pattern paper, it's gorgeous, but on a modern page I would use a strip of it. I would not be using the whole page as a pattern paper like that. It just doesn't seem right at all. But yeah, that's my mum, my auntie and her and their cousin, my auntie Bethel. I did a lot of scrapping from my mum's 60th birthday party, and actually at her 60th birthday I gave her a scrapbook of her pictures for them to be on display during the thing. Not brilliantly scrapped, they were all very quick, and they were literally almost a picture or two pictures on a page with a little bit of pattern paper, and that was it. So it's the most basic of scrapbooks ever, but it was more so that people could look at pictures of my mum throughout the years. So that was actually sort of very much the theme at the time. It's not very often my mum acts daft, so it's nice to have a picture of my mum acting daft. But yeah, very, very bizarrely basic. But what I really like is I've attempted to obviously make the balloon with the stars be like the balloons in the picture. Quite like that. That's quite funny. I think we've come across a picture of my nieces previously or a page with my nieces previously where I've used like this brown suede trim thing. I've clearly bought a different embossing powder for this. This is gold and sparkly, and this is my brother and my youngest of my nieces. Yeah, I've sort of done something inky with the edges of that. It's basically, I've got some supplies, let me put them on a page. This looks like it might be vellum. Yeah, that's a vellum. So the whole page, those squares are vellum. So I used to have like a pink scrapbook kit thing that used to get delivered monthly, and that's where that will have come from. All right, fast forward a few years, this is definitely more modern. I'm liking this. Again, where's my embellishments? But I suppose again, I've chosen, this is where I do like it, where I put multiple pictures onto our picture. So there's 4 different pictures here. And this is just the ducks at T-Bay Services. Hilariously, I've just seen somebody else has been at the Gloucester version of T-Bay Services. Obviously, it's just the Gloucester Services. Fabulous services. But yeah, I've just seen something on YouTube about that. It's funny. But yeah, this page, again, needs some grounding. Probably needs more embellishment, but because obviously I've put embellishment on the actual picture, perhaps I don't need to do it as much, is what my feeling was about. We've got the rare punched border going on here. Don't tend to do that anymore. Don't even know if I own it. In fact, I'm going to have a little look. Let's have a look. Oh no, that is the border punch that I still own. It's the only one I own. This is my grandfather and my grandmother. I never met my grandmother. She died when my dad was 14. But this is GB, who has appeared on previous pages. But yeah, I found or was given some old pictures of my grandfather and grandmother. So yeah, I think there's a few pictures in here that I decided to scrap. I have very few of my other grandfather. I only grew up with grandfathers, really. My other grandfather remarried, so I did have a grandma, but she remarried when I was a child. And then all of my grandparents died within a few months of each other. So, yeah, GB I was closer to because he physically lived closer. He lived just down the road in Wigan, whereas my other grandfather, when he started courting, I suppose, I don't know, going out, sounds wrong to say about your grandparents, but when he started going out with my grandma, he moved down to South Wales, and then they got married in Benidorm. Just an interesting, different thing. You think of Benidorm now, that wasn't the Benidorm my granddad used to go to, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, I digress. Love these papers. What I hadn't really realised until I started looking quite intensely at the page is that that's a different paper from that, so it's obviously a square and a square. That's an interesting way of doing it. Quite like that. It's quite different. Frustrating me that these are at a different level to that, but similar, and that the spacing's not the same. So I'm a little bit like my it's not OCD, but you know, that kind of attention to detail kind of is going. Obviously very little journaling because yeah, I didn't know my grandma, and this is clearly a very old picture. But how elegant do they look? Oh, here we go. Here's the other picture of my grandparents. So there you go, completely different kind of picture, because here they are in their leathers getting on the bike. But yeah, they look so young. So young. Now, this is that paper that I don't like, but I'm going to tell you I like it. I like it on this page. It works because it's contained and it's not over the top. I've not done too many patterns at once. And it kind of looks a bit like tire tread-ish. So yeah, quite like that. I love my title. So these titles, I don't think I've talked about the titles before, but the titles where I do them like this, I actually just printed a whole load of A4 sheets. I've got loads of them still. with the whole alphabet on in rows in boxes, and then I just cut them out as I need them. Perfect, simple, easy way of adding some letters at a cheap cost. These ones I've clearly raised up on a little bit of a foam pad because they've got some dimension to them. I love this stamping around the outside, and do you know what, I love that stamp set. I don't ever remember owning that stamp set, so maybe I made this at a crop and I borrowed somebody else's stamp set. Maybe that's what happened. Pumpkin carving. Yeah, we did get a bit carried away that year. So we all made one and then we went and bought another two, and Maya and I did another one each. Just, yeah. Oops. Yes, there's very little to say about that. I like the page. I like the layers. I like the pattern. I quite like the bow. Don't mind the gems. And I love the title. I mean, it's lacking relevant embellishments. So, you know, actually a pumpkin sticker or a dangling spider or something would have been relevant. But yeah, quite like it. I'm very much more accepting that some of these are of the era, as in this is what was available, so that's what we did. Don't know if that's glue coming through or whether it's a mark on it, but it's got a mark on it. It's got a mark up there as well, but again, don't know whether that's underneath. No, it's definitely on the paper. I do remember at some point there was some like coffee spillage, but that doesn't look like coffee spillage. That looks like something else. Don't really know. It might be adhesive coming through. Gosh, that's several pages that I've done with King's College in them. But I did really like going to King's College, and we went again last summer, and it was delightful. Beautiful building. I mean, there's some journaling, there's a title, there's some embellishment. Not convinced by this. Just not sure what that's adding. I quite like the rest of the layout, but I'm just not sure about that. Interesting, I've gone for corner rounding. I love those tickets. Oh, this page I love. This page I love. So this is one of my great niece. Well, yeah, one of my great nieces. I was going to say my only great niece. No, because Clover's my great niece as well. But yeah, this is one of my great nieces. The gorgeous Isabel. And I mean, I love that page. I'm impressed with myself as to how I've put that page together, which makes me think I haven't put that page together. Somebody else has put that page together. I think this is a Helen class. Yes, I'm absolutely convinced this must be a Helen class. If it's not a Helen class, it's very heavily inspired by Helen. But I love it. I love it. Well done me, but probably well done Helen. I love the way it all comes together, and I love all the little speech bubbles with the journaling on. There's a bit more hidden journaling. The title, yeah, this has definitely been either done at a class or at a crop, but definitely inspired by Helen, I think. Oh, I have a space. Okay, so there's a space to put a new page in. That's interesting to know. Okay, here's one of my great nephews. This is the lovely George. Here we go. Here's one of those pages that's got a stain on it. Where's my little slightly damp? Let's get rid of that off the page protector. This is one of my great nephews, the lovely George. He is such a cutie. Well, at that point he was such a cutie. He's quite grown up now. But obviously this is 10 years ago. I love this. Mixed media, some paint in the background. Bit of stamping, again probably with paint by the looks of that. Not a scrap of pattern paper in the mix at all. Just some buttons. Love it. Different alphas for the title. Again, bit of stamping. Oh, gorgeous page. Really happy with that. Teamed up with, oh, the colours are brilliant because I teamed up with his like little high chair that he was sat in, and then the blues for his top. Really pleased with that page. That's a really good page. Another mixed media page. Again, not a scrap of pattern paper. From the same day. This is his elder brother Finley, and this is her mummy Nicole, who is my eldest niece. So you'll have seen her on a previous page in another album where I was blowing bubbles and there was feathers on the page. That's what I can tell you about that page. But yeah, that was when she was a little girl, and now she's mummy to 4 children. But yeah, this is my eldest great nephew, who is very much a teenager now. But yeah, lots of paint. Looks like it's been sort of braided, maybe. I think it's been braided. A little bit of maybe some stamping. I think they look like paper artsy stamps. That's definitely paper artsy stamps, and that's definitely a paper artsy stamp. That's a Darcy one, that one. It's probably only, yeah, it's that big, and then it repeats. So yeah, bit of handwritten journaling into the actual colour. Another page I love. So clean and simple. Probably it wouldn't be the sort of thing I'd do. Very similar to the previous one with the 3 buttons. Yeah, very similar, different colours, but beautifully done. I'm really pleased with that. Okay. Oh, well, we'll have seen James and Eleanor when they were babies being cuddled by Maya, but this is my cousin's 2 children, James and Eleanor, who again, grown up now, well, going to high school in September, so she's not quite a teenager, is she? But this was her 2nd birthday. I like this. I quite like this with all of these. I think, right, so I've talked to Get previously. I suddenly remembered when I was going through like album 3 or something. Oh, I used to do like a sketch challenge thing. That's why some of these layouts look similar. I think this is one of those sketches where it was strips with banners and then there was a photo plonked. I think this is an interpretation of that sketch. But yeah, I like that. I love the corner rounding on them. Haven't quite got them to the same height, which is frustrating me, but you know, hey ho. I don't own a T ruler. I probably need one, especially as my eyesight's getting dodgier. But yeah, I like this. It's fun. Different colours being picked up because of all the different colours in the picture. So I've not kept to one colour with the embellishments. A doily. Went through a bit of a period of always having doilies. Okay. Oh, this has got sewing on it. I think we've only seen sewing on one other, and that was hand sewing. This is machine sewing. Look, machine sewing round there. Interesting. I quite like this. It does make me hold my heart a little bit because the lovely Linda is no longer with us. But these are my friends Linda and Gwen. I like the worn element of the background here, where I've obviously sanded it, and it's that coordinations type card where it's got a different coloured core to the card to the surface. I like the way I've done the title. We've got like, clearly I've done some spray type thing. I think I've probably used the airbrush. You put a pen into it and then you squirt air through, and it sort of like acts like an air spray, air gun, something or other. Anyway, I like that, and then I've obviously removed the letters to leave the relief. It's really cute, and quite a bit of journaling. So yeah. So this is a printed paper, all that background, and all I've done is basically matte made it wonky, put it on there, and then put a photo on top. I've added a little bit of washi and then some journaling type tags. It's very simplistic, isn't it? I mean, there's a bit of doodling around the sides and stuff, but I've let the paper do all the work, really. Yeah, not the best page, but it's not a bad page. Okay, so we've got some stamping in the background over what is already quite an interesting background paper. So that's paper that's meant to look like watercolour or some painty finish. I've added some, as I say, more stamping or stenciling. I think there's some stenciling and then stamping. Then I've added the stars as the embellishment. I love the cluster and I quite like the title. I think it works. So I like that page. Then that's been edged with some ink and then another matte layer before the green. So it's giving it a nice frame. Quite like that page. It's nice. Here we go with doilies again. I mean, doesn't she look like a little cutie? Clearly all purples to go with her purple dress, and some stamping. But then I've added like sticker borders, or border stickers is probably a better way of saying that. No, I think that's actually on the page. I was going to say there's a bit of yellowy brown stuff there. I thought it was the same dirty stuff that was on the other pages, but it's not. I mean, this title doesn't stand out well enough. I'm not sure how well it stands out on the camera, but it's in grey and it's against a pattern and it just doesn't stand out very well. Neither do these flowers stand out particularly well against, so it would have been better to have gone for more of a contrast, I think. But I like the layout. I think the layout works quite nicely, even if I'm not a big fan of the doily anymore. Oh, here we go. I've seen this on other pages. Done tiny dots of glossy accents going down the border, just to add a little something, but I'm not sure what it adds apart from a bit of texture. Okay, another doily. Lots of doodled borders. I don't dislike it, but I don't like it either. Yeah, I actually think it's this layer I don't like, and I think it would have been better if it had been a softer, maybe a watercolour background or something, just to, again, ground it a bit, but don't know. I've definitely scrapped these pictures before on another page. But I suppose it works so well with that very pattern paper that's got the story in the background, all the stuff around storybooks and that kind of thing. So it works with it. I quite like the cluster of the photographs and a little bit of journaling. I wish my daughter was a book lover still, but at that point she absolutely was. I love the way her feet are as well. Cutie. I really need to stop scrapping things that I've already scrapped though. That's bizarre, isn't it? Why am I scrapping the same pictures when I've got millions of pictures I could choose from? I quite like this. So this is obviously a cutter. This page has obviously been cut apart by something. I don't think I've done that. I mean, I think I've probably done that circle, but yeah, interesting. A lot of pattern going on that page, but I don't dislike it. I don't like this. It just doesn't fit with the rest of the page, as in because it's kind of grungy. I'm not even sure if it's on camera, but because it's kind of grungy, it just doesn't work with the bright and the cheerful other elements. Also not quite sure why I chose to put twine in that's like a normal craft twine. That's that's an interesting choice. Perhaps would have been better with a white floss or even a black, just to do something different, or a dark blue or something. But I like that page. That's fun and different. Probably would never repeat it because I think this was obviously bought as a piece or a panel or something. Oh, okay. Massive paper picture. Now this is what we got, so this is what we're running with. This is one of the preschool pictures that were done. So it's professional photo. I'm not entirely sure what my decision making was to include this colour, because it just draws attention away from the picture. I don't mind the green and the yellow. I mean, I happen to know for a fact she was wearing navy and red that day, so, but it's a black and white picture, so you can put it with anything. But I'm just not sure why I chose those colours for the embellishment, sort of sticker layers, border things. Don't mind the rest of it. It's a big picture. It's difficult to do very much with a very big picture. And it is what it is. It's, you know, that's the size of the picture that we got that I was able to scrap with. Oh, wow. So this, again, is one of those where I've popped it into an app. So I've turned the photo black and white, but then I've added some colourful embellishment on the thing. I think this is another one of those, what's the word? Map layouts? That's not the word. Sketches that I've used multiple times, because I've definitely seen this kind of configuration at some point in one of the other videos, but I don't know which one, I can't remember, but I've definitely seen the configuration before. I love these. They're quite cute, the little pennant banners. I like it clustered. I like the title. I like the fact that we've got stamping going off. This is a nice page, like that page. Possibly just needs a few little embellishments, like some gems or something. Just something. Oh, now that's interesting. Okay, I've done something weird. And I've cut into the paper and I've done some rolling. I obviously saw it somewhere or something, or somebody's taught me to do that. I have no memory of making the page to make me think why. Do I like it? No. It's not me at all. It's not me at all. I think maybe if they'd have been bigger strips, maybe it'd have made more of an impact. I don't know. I like all the banners. I like that I've found some embellishments and some stickers and ephemera, or whatever the word would be, to add to it. Don't like this wibbly wobbly hand cut border. That's weird. But I do like my journaling going down the side. I think that's quite nice. But yeah, I have no memory of even making that page. There we go. We have another doily, different kind of doily this time. I definitely went through a bit of a thing of buying doilies. Randomly, this is a stamp I know I carved myself. It's terrible, but it does something. It kind of works with the page, and it works with that floral piece. I quite like my border of flowers, but it just looks a bit detached. Would have been better just clustered, I think. That's my personal view. Oh, I like the fact that I've done a punched little label for doing my journaling. That's quite interesting. Maybe need to think about that in future. Yeah. Okay. See, this is that. Oh, so maybe it wasn't, you know, the one where I'd got the leaves and stuff, and I thought it was the same. Maybe it was a 3-photo page layout, but this is very similar to that one of James and Eleanor. So strips of paper going across, and then we've got the pictures on the top. I was just wondering if this was showing hidden journaling, but it is not. But it is loose. Do you know what? I'm going to take this one out of the sleeve because I'm curious. And the reason I'm curious is I can see a crease line here. Did I do... I did another hidden picture. Look at that. That's something. Yeah, that's something. And I've talked about this in previous videos. Many pictures of my husband and my daughter, usually in restaurants, taking silly pictures or doing silly poses for the camera. So yeah, I like that page and I am impressed. Now, I'm impressed and I'm thinking, has somebody else shown me how to do that? Is that Helen one? Maybe it was a Helen one. And here we are at the end. It's been a slightly longer one because I think I've waffled more today. That's a lot of pattern going on. Bit of book print stamping going on. It's too much pattern, I think. So I'm just not keen on that. It's not. I think it just needed to be less of this paper. I think then it might have worked. Maybe even less of this stripe, I don't know. It just feels a little bit overwhelming, the amount of pattern on that page, and it's not for me. So I'm going to go back to a page that I liked, and that was this one, to finish my video. Well, that's the last of my kind of complete journals, although we did find an empty space, didn't we, in this one? So I must remember that there is an empty space in this journal. I'm talking journals. This album. So yeah, I will... what I will do is I will probably film... I'm umming and ahhing because I've got a whole load of like other albums, but they're like post-bound, not great, quite flimsy albums. Plus I've got my wedding one. I think I will film one more video flipping through those albums. I've still yet to decide whether to buy another D-Ring album and then just combine them all into one. I'm not quite sure what to do. Obviously I've also been doing more scrapping, so I need to think about it because I am running out of space even in those ones as well. But they were the first ever albums that I got. So all I've done is at some point I upgraded into other albums, moved everything, but I've still kept those so that I can still use them. But yeah, I think I'll do one more video. Right, that's enough waffling. I hope you enjoyed it. I found quite a few bits and pieces in there that I liked and things that I would probably transfer onto pages now, as well as things that I absolutely wouldn't. So how about you? Did you find anything that was inspirational in that? I hope it's been useful or interesting to have a little flick through these journals with me. Why do I keep calling them journals? These albums with me. So please do give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you've not found it interesting. Do you know what? It's only 6 videos. 6 videos? 5 videos? I had this argument last time, didn't I? And I can't remember what I decided on. And I've only just uploaded the thing to YouTube. Whatever. There's only been a few videos. But anyway, please do subscribe if you want to see more. I don't post routinely, so you will need to hit the little bell icon to be notified when I put a thing up. Otherwise, you'll probably miss me having posted a video. So I strongly urge that you do that. But until next time, goodbye.